And then all of a sudden I started noticing a couple more chickens with the same symptoms. So we're out here at the chicken coop area. We've actually had a chicken that has been sick and is in quarantine, so we need to go in and check on him, and I'll show you guys exactly what's going on with him. Chickpea, chickpea. So a few weeks back I shared with you guys how I had a couple of chickens that had been moved into quarantine because they were showing some strange symptoms, and I wasn't quite sure what was wrong with them, so I just moved them into a space that they weren't around the other chickens in case they had anything contagious, and we started treating with some poultry cell and vitamin B, electrolytes, and just giving them kind of an easier diet to manage. During that time we had one chicken that progressively got better and eventually was able to join the flock again, and we had one that progressively got worse that we had to end up putting down. All was well for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden I started noticing a couple more chickens with the same symptoms. They started kind of wobbling around, not putting a lot of weight on one leg or the other, falling down, losing their balance, and just very lethargic. So I put 3 of them back into quarantine and started administering the poultry cell, vitamin B, electrolytes, and also changing their food and just keeping an eye on them again. This time 2 of them progressively got worse, and so we ended up putting one down because he had kind of lost his will to live, and the second one ended up passing on its own. Now we're left with 1 chicken from that 3. He looks like he's still putting up a good fight, but still not able to stand or walk. So he does look a little more pale today than he has before, his comb and wattle. I don't think he's been making it to the food and water as efficiently as he needs to be, but I think the vitamins are still carrying him along. If you look, his right leg is pretty much paralyzed. It doesn't react, it doesn't have any kind of reflex to it, it just kind of lays out there. And he's not able to use it to walk or put any weight onto. This left leg still has a little bit of reaction to it. We did tape up his foot because we thought he had the start of bumblefoot, and maybe that's why he wasn't able to put any weight on there. But now, you know, seeing him progress as the other chickens progressed, I don't think it's the bumblefoot that's causing that, but I think we caught the little scrape on this foot in time, kept it clean from getting any further poop or dirt into it, that we can take this bandage off, and hopefully he can start using this foot again to get around. We did check for mites, and there was very light presence of mites on them, so we did go ahead and treat just to make sure that that wasn't the cause of maybe some kind of anemia or something like that. I do feel like they're going through maybe a light molt right now with it changing the seasons, so that could also have something to do with it. And there's also one other thing that is a possibility that I'll show you guys here in just a few minutes that we need to work on to try and help prevent any other spreading of disease, because, you know, with chickens living in close quarters, it's really easy for them to spread things. And, you know, even though we do have a large number of chickens, we don't like to see any of them lost to sickness or disease or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and administer his vitamins for the day and try and set him up near the water and the feed to get him a little bit of nourishment. And I'm going to take this bandage off his foot and see if maybe that helps him be able to get around a little bit better. He is a feisty one. He does not enjoy taking his medicine, which is good. That shows me that he does still have that drive and will to live. You know, when a chicken doesn't give you any kind of feedback or anything like that, that's never really a good sign. So we like to see him a little bit feisty. That lets me know that he's still wanting to keep on going. We sprayed this with some blue coat, so I don't know if you can see that blue purple dye that's on there. It's an antiseptic spray, so it's just dyed that color, but looks good and clean. I'm happy with that. Not his favorite, but definitely has helped. Okay, all right. That's it. You can see that he doesn't sit up on his feet or his haunches at all. He just kind of lays over on the one side, and that leg is just splayed out in front of him. Doesn't put any weight on it. Trying to get him over here to this feed. There you go, get you some. So, I know it looks terrible, looks really sad, but honestly, I feel like he's in good spirits, and he does still eat and drink. So I'm not going to give up on him just yet, because the chicken with the first round that we had of this, she was very much the same. She wouldn't put any weight on either leg and just kind of laid around most of the time. But with giving them a more nutritional diet, we've been feeding chick feed, and with the first chicken, I gave her some scrambled eggs and garlic and herbs, lots of vitamins and minerals and support, and she was able to make a full recovery and is just fine now. So I'm not going to give up on this guy just yet. We'll keep treating him and see if we can help him out. We're not really 100% sure what's going on with these chickens. There are different types of diseases and stuff that could present these kind of symptoms, but I'm not convinced that it's any of them, because most of our flock is still doing really well and very healthy. It's just a couple that have shown these signs, and like I said, some of them progressed and some of them got better, so I'm not really sure what to think of it. But I have made a discovery that is a pretty good lead as to what may be going on with our chickens. as I've come out to refill our chicken feeders, which I have shown you guys, we use these 20-pound or 25-pound poultry feeders here, which I love because they're so simple to fill. You just take the lid off, dump a bag of food in, and they're set, and it's really waste-free for the most part because rainwater can't get in, and they're sturdy, they don't blow over, the chickens can't get into them. So I've been really happy with them. Except, I think another kind of critter has been able to get into them, and I think that could be our problem here. So I'm not sure how well this is going to show up because it's kind of bright out here and kind of dark in here. But once we take our lid off, I'm going to zoom in to this corner here and see if you guys can see this. Maybe. Okay, there we go. See these droppings? And even more so whenever I move this feeder. Check it out. More droppings. And after seeing my cat and dogs bring in several field mice and large rat mice from the woods, I can only conclude that we have a mouse problem. After doing a bit of research, I did see that mice can carry diseases that chickens can become susceptible to, such as leptospirosis and even salmonella. Now again, I'm not 100% sure that this is the cause of the issues that we've been having with our chickens, but I'm going to eliminate the problem to see if that does help us out. So instead of using these bulk feeders that these mice can get up into, and they're probably bedding in at nighttime if we're being honest, the droppings that are underneath the feeder show me that they're getting up underneath there. So they're definitely very comfortable and making themselves at home in our feeders. And if it wasn't something that the chickens were constantly eating out of, I probably wouldn't be that concerned. But because they do eat out of this every day, and some have been showing some symptoms and having some issues, I'm just going to take it away from the equation and see if that doesn't help us going forward. So we will be switching back to a trough style feeder. And unfortunately, just having to fill it up every day to fill the needs of our chickens. It is a little bit more work this way, but we know that they're not eating anything that's been contaminated by some kind of varmint getting in, and we're not having to worry about transmittable diseases that way. And it kind of just helps us keep a better eye on exactly what they're eating. We've also been trying to let them free range a little bit more throughout the day, especially while we're here. That way they are also foraging and eating lots of bugs and natural diet to help build their immune system, because really and truly chickens are not made to eat from bagged food. It's just, that's not their natural forage, but it's convenient and it's easy for us. So that's what we feed to them, and I would really like to get to more of a natural diet for them because, one, it does save money, it's cheaper, good pest control, and it is better for their immunities, and it just keeps them healthier in general. So I am going to remove these feeders from the chicken area, and I'm probably, unfortunately, going to dump this food So we're never going to get rid of rodents or pests, and we're never fully going to get rid of different diseases that float around, or illnesses, or just stuff that comes with owning animals. But what we can do is try to increase our biosecurity here and really do our best to eliminate some outside factors and keep our chickens good and healthy and strong, so that if anything were to infiltrate through, that they will be in the best physical shape that they can be, so that they have a better chance of not getting sick in the first place. Hey, Miss Trixie Bunny. You doing okay? So some exciting news for our little bunny Trixie here, and for us here on our homestead, is we've decided to expand our rabbit project. As you may have seen on our previous video when we went to the Homesteaders of America conference, Reagan attended a Raising Rabbits workshop and was inspired to get some more rabbits to breed on our homestead, to start maybe a little rabbit business. And plus, if we do decide to do meat rabbits in the future, we'll have some breeding stock here that we can have some production in-house. So we've been looking at some rabbit hutch plans this week from some other YouTube channels, and I think we're going to start working on it within the next week or so. We're going to get some materials and do kind of a mom-daughter thing, and I think my mom might even join in to help us. She's built a rabbit hutch before, so she mentioned that she would come lend a hand if we needed it. While we're out here, I want to take a quick peek at the garden. We actually had our first frost this morning, which I think most of the eastern coastal area has experienced this week. Most of our garden was kind of on its way out anyways, and the stuff that we planted for fall is frost hardy, so I'm not too worried about those, but I just wanted to peek in on it. This okra is like the okra that will never ever die or quit or give up. So it still has some okra and still plenty of leaves, so I think we're gonna have to have a harder frost than what we had to kill this okra off. I think we only got to maybe like mid-30s or so, so it was just enough frost to kind of see it, but it doesn't look like it killed anything off, which is great. So our winter squashes here, still green and growing. Maybe we'll end up with some storage squash before the frost hits those. It does look like the sweet potato vines that were still growing in this bed, some of them got hit a little bit, which is no big deal. We weren't trying to grow these sweet potatoes anymore. They were just kind of residual from when we grew them this summer. We were just kind of picking them off and feed them to the rabbit. But all of our collards still look great, and fun fact, most of your leafy green brassica vegetables taste better after they've had a frost on them. Something about the frost makes more sugar available into the leaves, so that it gives it more of like a sweet flavor after the frost comes through. So I really like collards and other greens after they've had some frost hit them. Our mustard greens are looking good, and oh look, some of our cabbage is starting to head up. Look how cute. He's in there. A little bit of bug damage, but not near as much as what you have in the summer months, so we just need to come out here and do some beetle and worm picking. But the colder the weather gets, the less we're going to have to worry about that. Look at these beautiful marigolds. Aren't they just so happy? All the bees have been enjoying them. Have you ever seen such a big bumblebee? I can put my hand next to him so you can see. That is a big guy. Here's a little honeybee in comparison. Wow. So that's pretty much it out here in the garden, just kind of letting things do their natural cycle, die off. Left the flowers out there for our bee friends because it's starting to get the time of year where things are getting very sparse for them. So we're letting them collect all they can before the colder months come. While we're out here in this area, I did want to share one really exciting thing with you guys. So here to the left of our garden, we had planned to expand our garden area by adding some in-ground rows and by putting our fruit trees out that have been in pots for now over 2 years. But this soil is void of a lot of nutrients. This was forest before that we came through, removed the trees, and so it's just not great for just sticking things in the ground and expecting them to grow. So we have decided that we're going to do a little bit of natural fertilizing this fall and winter, so that in the spring we'll be ready to plant here in the ground. And what's even more exciting is that we'll be doing it by using some animals. And these animals will be brand new to our homestead, ones that we have never kept on our homestead before. So we're excited to get them here. I just ordered some fencing last night, and we'll start to collect the things that they need to keep them here on our property. If you have any ideas, maybe leave them in the comments below. Make a guess to what kind of animal you think we are bringing here on the homestead next. I will give you a hint. In the past, we have had chickens, we've had ducks, we've had sheep, and we've had goats. And it is not any of those animals. So that is my only clue for you guys, and I can't wait to show you exactly who gets brought here in just a couple of weeks. But really, that is kind of it for today's video. I just wanted to give you guys an update on this chicken issue that we've been dealing with. And if you have any ideas, if you are a chicken guru or have dealt with something like this before, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Again, the symptoms that we dealt with were losing loss of legs and balance, loss of appetite, and getting to the point of just being immobile and very lethargic. Again, we have had a chicken recover from this, and we have had some that have not recovered from this. So if you have any clues as to what we could be dealing with here, please leave those in the comments below. We will just continue to treat as naturally as we can and do what we know to do. If you know of any other remedies or ideas, please let us know in the comments. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, following along on our journey. We appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.